Alright, what's happening everybody? I'm your man Akeem and welcome to today's vlog. We are in week 4 of the college football season. It's time for me to give you my key matchups and predictions for this week's games. Starting with Thursday's matchup between NC State and Cincinnati. The game is going to be at Cincinnati, so the Bearcats are going to be hosting this matchup. And this is a pretty good match to watch because both teams have pretty good offenses. I'm a little bit surprised from the performance of Mike Glennon, the Wolfpack quarterback. He's doing pretty well. 745 yards passing, 8 touchdowns with just 1 interception. He's doing pretty well without quarterback Russel Wilson. He's been a great replacement thus far. It looks like Coach O'Brien made a decent decision in starting Mike Glennon as his starting quarterback without Russell Wilson. Even though I believe Russell Wilson will still perform just as good or even better, in my opinion. But still, Mike Glennon is doing pretty well. Now, the Cincinnati Bearcats, they have a pretty good offense, and I think that they have more weapons than NC State. So I'm gonna have to go with the Bearcats in this matchup. The next game to watch, North Carolina is going to be at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's the 25th ranked team in the nation, and they lead the nation in rushing and scoring thus far. They have been piling up with points, with a couple of 60-point games at that, including last week's win over the Kansas Jayhawks. I think Georgia Tech's rushing attack is a little bit too much for North Carolina, even though quarterback Brendan Renner, he's a good upcoming story in college football. But I think Georgia Tech's going to win this game. The next game that you should look at, Georgia's going to be going to Ole Miss to play the Rebels. I'm going to have to go with Georgia in this one. I think after last week's win against Coastal Carolina, I think it kind of boosted their motivation up, and I think they're going to do well in this matchup. So I'm going to have to go with the Bulldogs. Next game to look at, a pretty good game to look at, Notre Dame is going to be at Pittsburgh. Notre Dame had a good win last week against Michigan State, my upset pick of the week, and Pittsburgh has suffered a loss last week against Iowa. Iowa had a 17-point comeback, and that kind of put Pittsburgh down. And I think Notre Dame's going to win this game because their defense kind of sparked up last week. And in the red zone against Michigan State, the defense stepped up and had an interception. And I think that they're going to do well in this game against the Panthers. They're going to respect the run. The defense of Notre Dame is going to respect the run, but I still think they're going to perform well. So I'm going to have to go with the Fighting Irish in this one. Next game to look at, upset alert. San Diego State is going to be going to Ann Arbor to face the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan's now ranked 22nd in the nation, and they have a tough matchup against the Aztecs. This is a good team led by quarterback Ryan Lindley. Plus, they have good sensational sophomore running back Ronnie Hillman, who had over 1,500 yards running last season, and he's doing great thus far in the first couple of games of the season. I think they're going to give Michigan, the Wolverines, a run for their money. But I'm still going to go with Denard Robinson leading the way and leading Michigan to a good victory. Next game to look at, SEC Dirty South matchup. Arkansas facing number 3 Alabama. Arkansas, the 14th ranked team in the nation, and they have a good quarterback in Tyler Wilson, who has been replacing Ryan Mallett pretty well thus far. Bobby Petrino has still orchestrated a great offense even without Niles Davis, their leading rusher from last season. They still have a good running back in Wingo Jr. and a couple of other backs in that backfield. But I think Tyler Wilson and the Razorbacks are not going to beat Alabama because their defense is just sick. I have been saying it week after week. Lester, Kirkpatrick, Dante Hightower, need I say Mark Barron, they are just loaded on defense, and I think they're going to stop that passing attack. And based on this game, we're going to see how well the Alabama defense is based on this game, because Arkansas is known for passing. They have a good passing game. They have a good offense all around, but that passing game is that leading thing for the Razorbacks, and it's really going to test the Alabama defense. This is going to put them to the test, and we're going to see how good this defense is. And I think their defense is just going to prove me right of how great they are. I believe that this defense from Alabama is the best defense in the nation, and they're going to be put to the test in this one. I'm going to have to go with the Crimson Tide in this matchup. Next game to look at, Florida State. They're now ranked number 11th. They were ranked 5th last week, but now they're ranked number 11th after the loss to Oklahoma. They're going to go to Clemson and face the 21st ranked Tigers. Tigers had a good win last week over Auburn, a big win. Taj Boyd had an over 300-yard passing game, plus Sammy Watkins I mentioned last week. But I think Florida State learned a lot from Oklahoma last week, and I think that their defense, they had a good defensive game last week against Oklahoma. Even though they lost, I think they're still going to perform just as well in this matchup, so I have to go with the Seminoles in this one. Next game to look at is a Pac-12 matchup between California and Washington. Both teams have their offenses. I think both offenses can match up, but California has a better defense. So I'm going to have to go with the Golden Bears in this one. Next game to look at is a revenge game between Oklahoma hosting the Missouri Tigers. Last season, Missouri spoiled Oklahoma's season and beating them when Oklahoma was #1. Now Oklahoma's #1 again, and they're looking to avenge last season's loss, and I think they will. Sooners have just so much on that team, and they still have a great defense, an underrated defense at that. So I'm going to have to go with the Sooners in this one. Next game to look at, Arizona's going to be hosting #10 Oregon. Oregon Ducks have a lot of speed, and I think that speed is just going to outplay Nick Foley's in the Wildcats. So I'm going to have to go with Oregon in this one. Next game to look at is a Pac-12 South matchup. Key matchup to look at. Arizona State's going to be hosting #23 USC. This is going to be a tough game for me to look at. To choose so who's going to win, but I'm going to have to go with USC because they still stacked with a lot of talent. Arizona State suffered a major loss, a tough loss last week to Illinois, and they really need to develop that running game. Arizona State does not really have a good running game developed. Neither has USC, but they still have a lot of talented running backs at USC with Mark Tyler back in the backfield leading the way. And I have to go with USC only because they have a better run game than Arizona State, but it's still going to be a great matchup to watch. Next game to look at, one of my matchups of the year. LSU is going to go to West Virginia. LSU is ranked #2. West Virginia is ranked #16 in the nation. Both have good teams. LSU has a great defense. Very underrated. They stopped a speedy Oregon team. They actually did better than Auburn did in that national championship last season. And Jared Lee has been doing good enough for that offense. With that LSU defense, I think they're going to capitalize well over Geno Smith. Geno Smith's going to be leading the way for the Mountaineers, but it's going to be a tough matchup to face this LSU defense because this LSU defense is aggressive, fast, and explosive. And I think the Tigers are going to get the Bayou Tigers are going to win this one. Next game to look at is my upset pick of the week. I told you guys I'm going to give you upset pick of the week. My upset pick of the week this week is Vanderbilt over #12 South Carolina. Now, some of you might be a little bit shocked about this, but I'm going to have to go with the Commodores in this one. This is going to be my upset pick of the week. The reason why is because they have a good balanced team. They average 33 points a game offensively, and they allow only 14 points a game on the defensive side. And plus, South Carolina struggled last week against Navy, and I think Vanderbilt could give South Carolina a run for their money. I think Vanderbilt has a shot of winning this game. Vanderbilt is undefeated. Let's not forget that. So I'm going to have to go with the Commodores in this one, but it's going to be a great matchup. The other upset I was debating was the San Diego State game at Michigan. I was thinking about putting that as my upset pick of the week, but I'm going to give you a bigger upset pick. I'm going to have to go with the Commodores of Vanderbilt over South Carolina Gamecocks. It's going to be a good game to watch. Now, my game of the week. Oklahoma State, #7 team in the nation, are going to Aggie Town to face the #8 Texas A&M Aggies. This is a great matchup, and last season they had a good game as well, 38-35 win for Oklahoma State, and I think this is going to duplicate what we saw last season. Last season was a great matchup. Both teams has two great, fantastic offenses, but I think Texas A&M has just a little bit of a better defense, and Coach Mike Sherman is trying to get that revenge game from last season. I think Texas A&M, they're going to leave the Big 12 conference with a bang. They have a shot of winning that Big 12 championship, but they have to beat Oklahoma, but I doubt they're going to beat that, but I'll tell you about that one later. But Texas A&M Aggies have a good team. They have a better defense than Oklahoma State, so I'm going to have to go with the Aggies on this one. Now, this is going to be an ugly Saturday that we see. A couple of those key matches like the Vanderbilt game I told you about, LSU, West Virginia, that's a key matchup. And my game of the week, this is going to be an important matchup for both these teams for their quest for that national championship. Now, I'm going to catch you guys on Monday and give you the recap of Week 4 of the college football matchups and all about my matchups of the weeks and my predictions. And also, I need to keep up with you guys with my record so far. Last week, I was 13-4. I lost another 4 games. Each week so far, I've been losing 4 games, so I might lose 4 games this week. I'm not trying to get that. But overall, my record is 37-12. Not bad, 75%. Just to keep you guys posted on that. But I'll catch you guys on Monday and give you a recap of Week 4 of the college football season. Thank you for watching today's vlog. From Sports News Insider, I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.